So it is 9 o'clock. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our second town hall. Today we are going to have Mark kick off our meeting, and then I will be going over some reminders about OregonBuys, some basic information, and then we'll have a demo of Marketplace. And I'll talk a little bit about statewide price agreements. So with that, Mark, I'm going to hand it over to you and let Mark kick it off for us.
Great. Well, thank you. Good morning, everybody, on our third Monday of the week. And I'm trying to be optimistic. Thanks for taking the time to come to this town hall. This is obviously, it's a very important system that we all will be working with in the future. I will also remind everybody that the town hall is being recorded so that anybody that can't make this can go back and review or listen to it after the fact. Really what I wanted to do by way of, just talking a little bit at the town hall is to give a quick overview of the enterprise projects, right? We're all going through so much change with COVID and ice storms and wildfires and just about every other natural and human disaster that is going on. And on top of that, the state is modernizing all of its systems to help improve the way we do business. This modernization is not trivial. It's a lot of technology, but more importantly, is changing the business processes that we all operate through to get things done and to do the work that we need to do. I will say, having gone through the time and attendance management system project, which is continuing in parallel with the OregonBuys project, we are within IS branch applying the lessons that we've learned on previous projects towards our approach to OregonBuys and making sure that we're adequately staffed and making sure that we can address things like change management, because these systems bring change by way of our business processes. The real intent for OregonBuys as a state procurement system is to be more efficient and more effective. And what we've seen in the development of software over the many years is that software systems that are available today include a lot of processes that were either done by SneakerNet or manual processes sort of attached to a system like Orpin, which is starting to show its age. So OregonBuys brings an opportunity to integrate a lot of manual and automated functions into how we do procurements going forward. This is an opportunity for us to look at our business processes and optimize them, right? So this is not just a like for like modernization of a system. This is literally going through and doing an analysis of our business processes and trying to streamline those to make things better, to make the way we interact with our procurements more efficient and more effective. But it is change, and sometimes change is really hard to do. And it's hard to accept because we know and are comfortable and accept the way we used to do things. And it's kind of hard for us to go through and understand the value of how we do things with a modern system that might be a little bit different. But the ultimate goal of OregonBuys and any of these systems modernizations is to get the same result of what we need and to do it efficiently. So with that, I really appreciate everybody taking the time to show up at this town hall and look at OregonBuys. We definitely want your input and feedback on things that work and things that don't work going forward. And we want to ask for your patience as we start to implement these systems. Recognize that from a technology and a procurement business end, we are all on this journey with you, and we all start with the least amount of experience on this new system as we go live, but we will all get through it and have a system that will hopefully last many, many years going forward. So with that, I will hand it back over.
Great. Thank you so much, Mark. I appreciate you taking the time to come and join our town hall. And again, thank you everybody, and I'm going to go ahead and get started with the presentation and the demo. All right, so just as a reminder, or those who are new joining this town hall and don't have a lot of information about OregonBuys. OregonBuys is going to be implemented in 2 phases. Our first phase is Orphan replacement, which happens July 1st of this year. And then phase 2, which is the full procure-to-pay functionality, will be fully implemented in 2023. We will have some functionality that goes online throughout phase 2, but the full product will be implemented in 2023. And that means the requisition all the way through payment, all of that functionality. I did want to talk a little bit today about some of the outcomes, the benefits and returns of OregonBuys. The system is a very, very transparent system. It is intended to be that way. It was designed for government entities, and it is very transparent. It allows our internal staff to see the different procurement types and things that are happening within the system. And then it also allows the external transparency to allow our external stakeholders to have access to view all of our opportunities, and including bids and solicitations, all of our awarded contracts. We will have the ability to track and measure deliverables and performance on contracts and vendors. And internal employees, again, will have access to all of those procurement activities on purchase orders and contracts. Ease of use. So OregonBuys has a Amazon-like shopping experience, which I'm going to show you today. And it allows the end users to purchase off statewide price agreements when we get into phase 2. All procurement activities will be done in OregonBuys, like I said, request through payment. Efficiencies. So OregonBuys provides standardization throughout ODOT with automation of procurement business workflows. Document flows through approvals that'll be set in the system. Will eliminate the use of duplicate systems and manual processes. Standardized process for creating and approving purchase requests, and one point of entry and one point of truth for the data. Controls. There is a 3-way match within the system, which requires a purchase, a receipt of that purchase, and an invoice to make the payment. Payments made on contracts will be visible in the system, allowing you to see what is remaining to be paid on the contract or purchase order. And it provides built-in audit trails for accountability. An insight. We'll have insight into workflow pressure points by role. Standardized and ad hoc reporting capabilities through the agency, so different areas can have their own reporting and that visibility into the system. And then broad visibility into organizational spend and strategic sourcing. So as a agency, we'll be able to have a really good idea of we'll see what we're spending. We'll be able to use that in strategic sourcing to get better pricing on our contracts. And then it will also be used for the whole state. So DAS or state agencies will be able to look at all spend at the state and see how we can use, again, that strategic sourcing to get better pricing on our contracts, our statewide price agreements. I also wanted to remind everybody about the Orphan freeze, the Orphan blackout period. So starting June 16th, Orphan moves to read-only status. From June 16th to June 30th, it is the blackout period, and during that time, nothing can be entered into Orphan, and again, it's a read-only status. This allows us preparing the launch of OregonBuys and allowing us to migrate data into the system and get prepared for go live. There is a link in this PowerPoint which you will have access to, and that has some guidance on the transition if you're interested in what DAS is providing for guidance for the Orphan blackout. Again, the users for phase 1 are the procurement office purchasers, agency users who post on Orphan, and then agencies users who search on Orphan. So we have identified all of our search users in Orphan, and you will be seeing a email if you are a search user coming out soon, which we'll talk a little bit about what to expect. If you are not currently a search user in Orphan, but that functionality of searching price agreements is something that you will need, we'll ask that you email our project, and I'll have some contact information. Again, with this presentation, we'll send that out. So if you are currently an Orphan search user, you will have access into the search functionality of the system. If you are not, please contact us if you need to have that access. All right, so searching for statewide price agreements. Currently in Orphan, we hear that it's difficult to find certain price agreements and looking for products on price agreements. So the OregonBuys system offers a marketplace which allows you to easily search for products and view them in a way that is easy to find and easy to navigate. And we'll have a couple different functions when we talk about the phase 1 versus phase 2. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the demo. Make sure it didn't sign me out already. No, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a quick overview of the navigation of the system, and then we'll go into Marketplace. So OregonBuys, for the functionality for phase 1, again, this is where all of our opportunities will be posted by the procurement office and those agency users that post. And then the functionality from searching price agreements. For phase 2, there'll be, again, a lot of functionality, and you'll actually be able to kind of see some of that functionality when you do have access into the system. We're just not using that functionality at this point. When you log into OregonBuys, it is a very simple site. It's very user-friendly. It's easy to navigate once you get the hang of it. And I'm just going to do some quick overviews. So we've got our account functionality over here, so where you can view your account. There is user manual. So depending on the role that you have in OregonBuys, a user manual will take you right to how to use the system. This user manual is created by BuySpeed and Periscope, the vendor. We will also have guidance that is specific to ODOT and how we'll do our business processes. This system is set up as an enterprise system, so it has the enterprise capabilities for all state agencies to use the system, and then each state agency will configure the pieces that they need that are specific to their areas. So we will have things that are different in our system than Secretary of State or Forestry or even DAS. And so we'll have some guidance to teach folks how to use those specific things that are only in ODOT. You'll also have access to things like user dashboards, your reporting, a G2B punch out, which I'll talk a little bit about, and then again, depending on what you have access to. And then there's also reminders and system messages. So if you have any of those will have a little red dot and it will show you that you have any alerts. The search capability and function in OregonBuys is very robust. There are different document types you can search from. And there's also the advanced search function, which again allows you to search by different document types and gives lots of different criteria for you to search from. If you needed to create a document type like a requisition or a receipt in phase 2, we have the creating documents here. And then we also have on the left-hand side another navigation bar, which allows you, again, to look at those document types, whether you're doing a requisition, a bid or solicitation, a blanket, which in ODOT terms is a master or is a price agreement. Terminology will be a little different in the system, so we will help prepare you with the terminology that you need. Purchase orders, receipts, credit memos, invoices, and then marketplace. So as you can see, as we talked about, is a full e-procurement system, starting with requisition and going all the way through invoicing. So from marketplace, the system itself, when you click on marketplace, you will get pulled up to a search bar here, which allows you to search by really a product, by a vendor, by really anything that you want to search by. It also gives you some additional functionality down here, depending on the catalog categories, any catalogs that you are responsible for, suppliers, NIGP codes. So there's lots of search functionality. So I am going to see if this will work. I am having struggles with this browser, so I may need to switch over and go to my other one. So let's just see if we can get something to pull up. Nope. Okay, so I'm going to switch screens here and show you when you do search for something, what that looks like. All right, so if I type sanitizer in, then I will get a pop-up, and this will show me all the products that we have in OregonBuys that have sanitizer. So you can see it's, again, super easy to use. It gives you lots of functionality, and you can see each product, SKU number, what price agreement is from. This is from an external catalog, which is would be your Grainger, Office Max, things like that. We'll also have the functionality of, it'll show statewide price agreements. Again, this is a demo system, so there's not a lot of products in here, but there'll be all of the products for the statewide price agreement. So if you're looking for auditing services and it's on a statewide price agreement, you can type in auditing services and it will pop up with that service as well. This will at least then guide you to what price agreement you need to use for phase one. You'll continue your current processes on how you purchase things. You will just use the marketplace to find those items. And then you'll do your manual process to purchase those items or services, just like you do today. When we move into phase two, you will actually be able to add these items into your cart, and it will show you right here your cart, and then it will move it into a purchase order. So you really will do all your purchases through the system. Regardless of what you're trying to purchase, we'll have catalogs for that. It could be something that we don't have a catalog for, that will just be a standalone purchase order that you typically do, and that will again be done through the system. It also allows you to click on the product. We'll see if it logged me out or not. Nope. So it'll allow you to click on the product and get more information. My browser's just a little slow this morning. So when it does pop up, when my browser's not so slow, it will give you the different specifications for that product and whatnot. So that is what the marketplace looks like. Pretty simple, again, easy to use and to function without. So I'm going to switch back to our presentation, or actually our profile. Is there any questions about this demo? Again, it's really a short demo because there's not a whole lot you have to worry about and function through.
Kayla, I've got a question. This is Marie, and I apologize if you covered it and I missed it, but I was wondering, when searching for price agreements, will it show just the DAS statewide price agreements, or will we be able to find our ODOT price agreements as well?
I didn't cover it. So currently they're loading all of the statewide price agreements, and then ODOT will load our price agreements as well. So they will have access to you through our specific ODOT agreements, price agreements.
Great. Thank you so much.
And then the inquiry users, when they go in and search, they'll also be able to search for just standalone contracts that we have done at ODOT. The external site is also very user-friendly for searching for active contracts or ORS 190s that we have. So again, there's just a lot more visibility into the system for our users to see. Any other questions about the system? Now, again, this was just one piece of the functionality. There's a lot of additional things that happen in the system, like your purchase orders and contracts and things, which we'll show at a later time. So I'm going to go ahead and then go back to the presentation, and we will have a few other talking points for you, and then I was just going to leave it again open for Q&A, and then that will be the end of today's town hall. So when we talk about training for our search users, training for the OregonBuys search users will be available in May and June, and it's going to be done through a self-paced online training. So you will just be able to log in when it's convenient for you and do your training. Of course, we will be here to support you because it's not going to be a hands-on with an instructor training for search users, but we will be here to support if there are any questions or concerns, or if we need to do any additional work with folks, the project team will be here. And then again, preparing for the new system. Oh, I don't think you guys are seeing my screen. Let me go ahead and get back, share my screen for you. There we go.
I have a question. This is Melissa Canfield. I'm wondering, I know we all get really busy every day, and I'm wondering if people would like us to schedule time on their calendars to take the online training. And if we have scheduled times to do that on their calendars, then we could make ourselves available, right, to answer questions during those times, those scheduled times. And people don't have to use the scheduled time for that, but would that be helpful?
I think that's a great question, and the users we have on our town hall today, if you guys could give us some feedback, if that would be something you'd be interested in us doing, is kind of doing that self-paced training in a group session, this online training, or if it would be easier for you guys to then just have times for you to jump in and talk to us about what you learned in that training, or just doing self-paced on your own. Even if you'd like to enter something in the chat as a comment for us, that would be great. And again, this is for the search users only. When we're talking about users who will be hosting solicitations and contracts in the system, we will have a hands-on instructor-led Zoom-based training that will be done for those folks. This is just for the search users. Okay, so we do have a comment about the group setting being very productive. So this is really great feedback, and this is what these town halls are meant to be for, is you guys providing us with some feedback so that we can meet your needs. So we will start thinking about how we can do a group setting training, and then also allow folks to do the self-paced by themselves. But that way, if there are questions during it, you'll be able to get them answered. All right, please feel free to continue typing things in the chat. And then again, preparing for the new system. So as we've talked about before, checking out our website, signing up for the DAS newsletter, just staying informed and kind of keeping your eyes out for communication that comes through, emailing your questions, and then letting us know if you'd be interested in being a change agent for phase 2. So for change agents for phase 2, especially if you're going to be a search user for phase 1 and you will be doing purchasing through the system in phase 2, you might want to consider being a change agent, and allowing what that will allow for is you to get some access into the system as far as creating some of those purchase orders and helping us test them. So ensuring that all processes work the way they're supposed to. So if you are interested, please send us an email and maybe check with your manager, make sure that there's no concerns there. And then we'll be starting our Change Network and super user groups coming up this summer. All right, so that is all that we have for today. And I see a question here, so perfect. When performing a search, Does it show whether an item is mandatory or convenient? Yes, it does. The price agreement, there is a section within the item that shows if that price agreement is a mandatory price agreement or if it's a convenient price agreement. Any other questions or feedback? If anybody has any feedback on the system itself from what you've seen? Yes, so this recording will be available and it'll be posted. And we will also post this slideshow, the slides that go along with it.
Kayla, there is another question in the chat.
Perfect. Okay, so can I see how much money is left on a price agreement? So kind of depends on how the price agreement is set up, but yes, there is a not to exceed amount that we can put in a price agreement. For the statewide price agreements, that might not be something we have visibility into as far as what DAS has, but if we have an ODOT specific price agreement, we will have a not to exceed amount, and then we can see how much is remaining on the price agreement, or it will not let you go above that. So if we have a price agreement and we're doing purchase orders off of it or work order contracts off of it, and we hit that limit, it will not allow somebody to enter in a work order contract or purchase order over that amount. And that part is for phase 2 when you actually do the purchasing, so until we see phase 2, you won't be able to see how much is left on it, but you'll be able to see the not to exceed amount. All right, anything else? Okay, well, again, thank you everybody for joining today. If you have questions that come up within, any time, please feel free to send us those questions. You can find me on Teams chat. You can send me an email any way you'd like to get a hold of me, and we will be happy to answer any questions. All right. Well, again, thank you everybody for attending today's meeting and our town hall, and we'll be back next month with our next town hall.